If I had to choose between sunbathing in the nuclear apocalypse or living in an underground sanctuary with nothing but a bunch of billionaires and their corporate cronies, probably breaking out the lawn chairs. Let's talk about Joshua Dysart's The Hab. So I know what you're thinking, but no, the Hab does not stand for haberdashery, obviously. It stands for habitat, and it takes place in a fictional world where the billionaire class sort of brought upon this nuclear fallout or mass apocalypse. So real far out there idea, well within the weeds of fiction, but I enjoyed it nonetheless. We start off by following the perspective of a girl named Melanie, who's the daughter of the billionaire who created the Hab and essentially got to decide who dies in the apocalypse and who gets to live in this sanctuary to repopulate planet Earth. Now, as you might imagine, taking a couple hundred people and sticking them underground in a false habitat might not lead to the most stable mental situation for human beings. And pretty early into the story, we start to see how those mental cracks start to get a little bit bigger. I'm a huge fan of the psychological thriller genre in general, so if you are too, I highly recommend you pick up this book. They do a great job of not throwing shock factor in your face just for the sake of it, and also not making you wait until the last few pages just to see any elements of horror. So what they do with the pacing really allows suspense to build up evenly throughout the book. However, without getting too deep into spoilers, because I do want you to read it for yourself, where my personal preference differs from what they do in this book is my favorite kind of psychological thrillers are the ones where there's no sort of paranormal or occult activity that accelerates the horror aspect of things. I like to watch the human psyche do what the human psyche is going to do, and I don't think that it needs any help in reaching a level of crazy that satisfies a psychological thriller. Now, does that ruin this series for me in any way, shape, or form? Absolutely not. I still think it was a phenomenal first issue, and I'm super excited to see what comes next in the series, so I highly recommend it. So, that's The Hab. If you've read it, I would love to hear what you think about it, and if you haven't read it yet, you probably should.